Sure. Hi, everyone. Yeah, just a reminder again, please download the files that are in the caption or description in YouTube. You'll find the TouchDesigner file and these two XCF files, and these are pretty important if you want to follow along, especially if you don't have a Kinect sensor. So, and also download Kinect Studio, which is also in the description, and it's free. And this way we'll learn how to use Kinect without using a sensor and just a file. And the XE files are pretty big. One of them is about 3.5 gigabytes and the other one is almost 2. So I'll talk a little bit before we need to open those files up. Thank you, Tdsw. Thank you, Yuki. I'm very grateful for teaching this workshop today. And oh no, I'm very excited. And also thank you for the people streaming onto this workshop. And welcome. So again, I'm a Los Angeles-based experiential media artist and also a yoga movement teacher. I've been working with TouchDesigner for about 3 years, but been working in the visual media field for about a decade. I'm very fascinated with movement, whether it's in our physical body or in a visual setting. When I work with animation, I think of it as a moving painting, and I work with Kinect sensors. I like working with Kinect sensors because it combines the body movements with interactivity and generative art. And it's a great cool tool to engage the audience. Here in this little image here, the 4 different GIFs are different exercises that I actually did during the pandemic. The one on the right is similar to the TouchDesigner cover that we'll actually go over how to create. And the one on the left is actually beginning of the pandemic. I use the API, John Hopkins API, to get the data of different cities and countries' COVID cases, and made this 3D space to see an update of how many cases depending on the different countries to get a better visual data visualization and use a Kinect to navigate through the space. And we'll go over similar skills on how to create all of these different type of visuals. So first, let's talk about Kinect. And sometimes I get people ask, what's the difference between a Kinect and a webcam? And you have the capability of doing what webcams do with a Kinect device, but it also, you can capture depth, infrared, you can create 3D point clouds, it gets skeleton data, and also can capture audio. Although I don't recommend using it to use it as a microphone. It has a capability, but it's not the best audio system. And what I mean by skeleton data, on the right, these diagrams, really good way of demonstrating how you can see all the different joints. It could read the head, the hip, the spine, and all these different joints. And if you're ever curious of what joints that the Kinect can read, you can just Google Kinect joint positions and you find a bunch of different similar diagrams available for reference. And before hopping into looking into the device and opening TouchDesigner and Kinect Studio, just a few little tips and reminders of how to set up a Kinect. Unfortunately, Kinect does not support, does not officially support on Mac, although if you can download Windows Boot Camp and a Windows 8, then you could use Kinect on a Mac. So you need a Windows 8 or higher. And good to check if your machine is not on power saving mode, or it would have difficulties connecting with the sensor. And also is important to make sure your Kinect USB is plugged into a power. If you have a USB port extension to make sure the extension is an active extension. When I started using Kinect, I was on my laptop and I had a USB extender. I was connecting my Kinect device and I was confused why I can't read it. But since it's quite taxing, it needs to be on the actual port or a active extension. So with that out of the way, and if everyone has Kinect Studio downloaded, we'll open Kinect Studio. It looks like this over here. And once you open it, you have these two gray screens and a timeline with nothing on it. And we'll start with opening one of the exe files that was provided in the description. So if you go to the File tab on the left, and you click on Browse, and you can locate the exe file. There's two, one's called hand tracking and one is Tdsw Movement. We'll first start off with the Tdsw Movement file. And once you have it, you still don't see anything, but you have these timeline green timeline out. First, we'll click on Connect to Server. So you make sure I have these red arrows, and then play. And then you'll see this red and this color image of this person shuffling left and right. And once it plays once, it would probably stop. And so what this app does is that it can record Kinect data and also can play back the data. And whenever this is playing, if you open TouchDesigner, it would make TouchDesigner think that there is a Kinect sensor on and this is the live data coming out. And what's so great about using Kinect Studio is that it also captures all the joint data. So it thinks the hip and the foot and everything is having live feed. And it's even if you have a Kinect sensor, this is great if you're showing clients and also play testing that if I'm trying to create a visual, I don't have to constantly get up and go in the back and move around to make sure it's working. And a few things that to make sure when you have this open, if you pause it and change the loop count to 1000, then it will just constantly be looping without you have to keep on playing, pressing on play. And also, if you're playing and you see it here and you open TouchDesigner and getting an error, good to make sure that you pause, that this I for color, uncompressed color is checked. So make sure it's visible. And then when you open TouchDesigner, that should get the error off. Also, certain things that are helpful is that you have these red corners where you can crop the video. I just crop a little bit in the beginning and a little bit at the end. So you'll crop up the part where I'm clicking on record, running over, and then coming over to stop. So I'll first have this playing as I talk more about the interface of Kinect Studio. So again, this is a timeline. On the left, you can see the different data that is playing. Make sure this is always red when you want the data to pass through. And over here on the right, you see the video. And if you click on the setting button, there's different setting options. You can do right now is set in depth color ramp, and that's usually the automatic setting, but you can have it as a gray ramp. Or hold on, I'm gonna crop the ending a little bit more. but you can also put in color, which would give kind of